Yo, 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 what it do, what it do? It's your boy Yellow the Poet. And today I'm here with Mr. Tywin. I pronounced it right, right?
That's right. Right, man. That's right.
I'm- Today I'm here with Mr. Tywin, and the brother has been taking me in from fat to fit. And one of the things I read on the profile has been in 90 days. That's a huge blessing. So we're gonna learn more about that. So Mr. Tywin, first off, I want to say welcome to YTP Entertainment. Greatly appreciate you being here, man. This is a wonderful opportunity to get to know you, know more about what you do. So please let the audience know what you got going on.
Well, first and foremost, man, I appreciate the honor to be on here and just kind of share with your followers and share with your people just a little bit about my story, a little bit about what I do, and hopefully maybe it inspires someone to change their life or at least make progress in the right direction or just maybe help them out of a tough time, man.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. That's a true blessing. Definitely. So one of the things I was reading about fit in 90 days, what are some of the curriculums that you teach in order to make that possible?
Yeah, man, absolutely. Great question. So, what I've learned over the years, I've been in the fitness industry now 15 years, and my whole goal was to, how can I make this as simple as possible? How can I take out the stuff that really doesn't matter? Because as I was on my own journey, I realized there was so much bad information. There was just so much information. It was overwhelming for me. Maybe not for the listeners, but for me, it was just overwhelming.
Mm,
And I'm a very simple person and I like things nice and simple. So I was like, how can I boil this down to only the things that need to be done? And then I came across this,
mm,
it's called the Pareto principle. It's the 80-20 rule, which basically means 20% of the work that you do is going to produce 80% of the results. So I was like, okay,
yeah.
I'm just going to focus on that small percent because that's where I'm going to get the most bang for my buck. So what we really focus on is mindset. That's the first thing. Then we focus on what
Mm,
someone puts in their body. And then the third thing is we focus on how they actually move their body. Those are the only three things we focus on. Those are the only things we need to focus on. And then once we focus on those over just a 90-day period and lock them in, get their habits in place, get the discipline in place, the results are crazy. The results are absolutely crazy what people get.
that sounds good, man. I can imagine that it is definitely a lot of, hard work, dedication, and the willingness. That's the main thing that I look for in people. Is I mean, because I do relationship coaching, so when I'm talking to people, I'm looking for that willingness. Because if you're willing to put forth the energy, the time, the effort that it takes in order to make things better, make yourself better, think better, do better, then that right there is a head start to me. That's a head start on your own journey because I've already started my journey, so I know what I need in my journey. Now I want to help you build those and expound upon yours. And that's what I get from when I read your profile about, things that you're doing to help people get fit. And I think that's
100%.
a beautiful journey, my friend. Beautiful. No doubt
Yeah,
about that.
100%, man. I've
So,
had the good fortune of being in the industry a very long time and working with I've had some amazing clientele over the years. And I kind of figured out like, okay, because I'm not in this for the money. It's just the money
mhm.
doesn't really interest me. I take the money, but I don't do it for the money. I love seeing, watching a man just transform into a better version of himself that he already
Mhm.
knows he needs to be. He already knows he can do better. He already knows the life he's supposed to live. He's just not living it for whatever reason. So I'm
Exactly.
very specific. Like I don't take on people. I won't just take on just anybody. What I mean by that, a lot of people need my help, but I don't take on people that need my help. I take on people that want my help, and it goes right in line
Mhm.
with what you're saying. You have to be willing
Mhm.
to do the work. You have to be willing to say, okay,
Yes.
enough is enough, because a lot of people, they're just not uncomfortable enough to do what they need to do to get out their current situation.
Yes.
Right? So maybe
Yes.
they're not happy. Maybe they don't like their situation, but they don't dislike it enough to actually do something about it. And I'm big
Hmm.
on like, I don't take any excuses. I just don't. That's not the way my program works. I mean, I've been in
Exactly.
shape and fit. My family's in shape and fit. So I'm good either way. Like I'm here to
Hmm.
help to get you to where you need to go.
Exactly.
So, and when I do that, I find the right people that are the right fit and we kill it. We crush it. They just
Yes.
crush, and it's really
Yes.
cool to watch. It's really inspiring watching someone go from whether it's just because it's more than just the weight. And that's what a lot of
Hmm.
people think they're going for. They're just trying to lose weight or they're just trying to put on a little. It's way, 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 way more than that. So we go. It's not your typical coaching program. Yes, I give you your workouts. Yes, I give you your macros and tell you what to eat. But that's really surface level stuff. What ends up happening when I start
Hmm.
working with people, their whole life gets better. They start making more money. They have better relationships with their wives. They have better relationships with their kids. They don't have a wife. They start finding like someone that's there that can empower them. So to see a man, first of all, transform into to the man he's supposed to be, the strong male leader that he's supposed to be,
Hmm.
the provider, the protector, it's just an amazing thing to watch.
Yes, indeed. I totally agree with you on that. And I love that concept because I look at it from being a relationship coach. I love to see the men understand what it really means, what it truly means to be the man, to be a man. We got so many male figures out here, and a lot of people don't understand what I mean when I say male figures. Historically, men had to males had to earn the title of being called a man.
Hmm?
That's something that's written in history. And if you are not performing or doing the things that it takes to be a man, then you will never get to that point until you're actually ready. And that falls in line with what you were saying. You don't take people who need your help. You take people who want your help. And that right there, if you want to be a man, you're going to do what it takes to actually be just that. And looking at that transformation from being a male figure into transforming into an actual man, you understand that there are real roles that a real man plays in life, actually plays in life. And you'll understand too that a lot of people say women do a lot of things, but if you understand the real roles of a man, we have a lot of work.
Yeah,
We have a
100%.
lot of things in store. We do a whole lot of stuff. We don't neglect certain things and piggybacking off of your concept of no excuses, that's one of the things that we don't do. We don't give excuses. So therefore, you can't look for any to come from us.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So I totally, totally get that whole concept. I love it. I
yeah.
love it to the utmost. And I
I
think a
mean,
lot of us need to understand what that means.
I think you really hit it on the head throughout human history. Again, you had to earn the right to be a man. It was like it was almost
Hmm.
a rite of passage. It was you literally there was some usually it involved something physical, something that you had to
Hmm.
overcome, something that was hard, something that was challenging that took you literally from a boy to a man.
Yep.
And the
Yep.
thing is, that really hasn't changed. And I
It
say that
hasn't.
because of this. If you're not handling your responsibilities as a man, you're going to get leftover scraps.
Hmm.
Right? You're getting that. This is unfortunately what a lot of men are getting right now. They're getting leftover scraps, right? You don't get
Hmm.
the choice in who you want to date if you're not handling yourself as a man. Like you got to just
Exactly.
get the leftover scraps that the other men already got. You don't get to
Hmm.
choose how much money you're making. You have to get the leftover scraps that don't anybody else want. So what
Yes.
happens is a lot of these men like they're just used to getting beat up, beat up, beat up, beat up, beat up, and life is beating them up, and they don't understand even why. It's not just somebody's
Exactly.
weight. It's not that. It's
Yes.
we need to transform your mind. We need to transform
Hmm.
your body. We need to transform your soul, like everything. And when you make
Yes.
this transform, when you make this transformation and get in alignment, When you get in
Mm-hmm.
alignment with your purpose, when you get in alignment with God, everything starts hitting like this. Boom, boom, boom.
Yes.
Because remember,
Yes,
males
indeed.
are we're look, we're providers and protectors because you have to be, you're the foundation, you're the backbone of your family. You're the
Mm-hmm.
head, like you're the headship, you're the leader. So if you want a woman
Mm-hmm.
to be able to trust you, if you want a woman to be able to lead on you, if you want a woman to be able to submit to you, you have to be someone worth submitting to. You have to be someone that
Exactly.
you can trust and depend on,
Exactly.
that can provide and protect. So again, that's why when I say I coach my guys, it's much bigger than just losing weight. Like this, we're gonna transform your
Yes.
whole life. We're gonna
Yes.
transform your whole absolute entire life. So you can really
Mm,
boss people up and do what you need to do.
exactly. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You definitely hit the nail on the head for real. I want to add one other thing to that.
Mhm.
One of the other things that a lot of the male figures need to understand in order to be a true man is we have these X and Y chromosomes for a reason.
Mhm.
We don't have XX. We have X
Mhm.
and Y for a reason. That
Mhm.
X in us allows us to be empathetic, sympathetic when it's time to be. Not let that take over and say, "Hey, I'm a man because I allowed this to take over." No, you use it when it's necessary. You use that. If you're a real man, you understand when to use that. You
100%.
use that X chromosome in order to understand how to communicate with the opposite sex, with those women that you choose in your life. Because right now, just like you said, they're getting the leftover scraps. But when you become a real man, there's no more scraps because now you understand how to choose the woman that's going to be right for you and know how to be right for her, because
100%.
it's a two-way street, regardless of how we look at it. It's a two-way street, so we
Yeah.
got to be able to be right not only for ourselves but for somebody to even want us in the first place. And then
100%.
you got to learn how to choose the right person for you to have that long lasting, vibrant, strong relationship. You got to be ready for these things. And when you doing these transformations, you got to be ready for everything that's going to come along with that, because it's a roller coaster transforming from being a male figure to a man.
Yeah.
It's a roller
100%.
coaster, and you gotta be ready, ready. If you ain't
100%.
ready to dig in your past and understand what you missed out, what you lost, and the things that you need to gain and get back, if you're not ready for that, if you're not ready to think outside the box and learn to do something different from that pattern that was getting you nowhere, you're a waste of time. Seriously, you are a
100%.
serious waste of time.
And I think,
You know?
what you said, I'm going to run it back real quick because something you said, and we have to get, as a society, we need to get better at this. As men, we need to get better at this. There's a clear difference between a man and a woman. Not one is better than the other. They're both needed, but there's a clear distinction between the two.
Exactly.
All right. And that needs to be voiced. And unfortunately,
Hmm.
there's a lot of people that are disillusioned and want to act like there's no difference between a man and there's a clear difference between a man and a woman that needs
Yes.
to be said. Because what's happening is you have men that are actually buying into that and they're
Hmm.
starting to act like a woman because like you said, we have the ability to be empathetic, we have the ability to show our feelings, but there is a time and a place for that. And here's something, as a man, it is hard for you, just
Yeah.
just life
Yeah.
is going to be hard because you have to deal with not only your own stuff, not only your own problems, you have to deal with your girl's problems, you have to deal with your wife's problems, you have to deal with your kids' problems, you have to deal with the
Yep.
community, your business, your job. You have to put all of that on your back, right?
Hmm.
And still go handle your business. So
Yep.
this whole idea that self-care days, and no, dude, you're just gonna be stressed sometimes. And life is gonna
Yeah.
be hard. And you just gonna have to
Yep.
that's what comes with being a man. It just is.
It it does. It does. That is so true. It
It
does.
is.
And if you're not ready
But see,
for
the
it, then
better you
don't
get
waste
at
the
that,
time.
the better you get at handling stress, the better you get at
Hmm.
handling problems, objectives,
Yes.
all of this, the bigger the problem, the bigger the paycheck. So when
Yes.
you start to learn how to handle these problems and situations, guess what? People pay you for that because
Hmm.
not everybody can handle that. So really, when you're dealing with all these situations, problems, whatever you want to call them,
Mm,
you're better off becoming the man that can handle those things. Because if you're the man
hmm.
that can handle those things, you also become the man that they call when someone needs a problems fixed. You that man,
Exactly.
right?
Yep.
You that man,
Yep.
right? So these are blessings in disguise. These are lessons. These are chances for you to get better. These are chances for you to
Hmm.
grow as a man. This is why I love the gym so much, because you can intentionally put yourself under fire. You can
Hmm.
intentionally, knowingly put yourself in hard situations when it comes to lifting
Yep.
heavy weights, pushing yourself when you want to quit, getting up and going to the gym when you don't want to. These directly
Yep.
translate over into life. Because guess what? When
Yes.
you're at work and everybody else wants to quit, everybody else wants to go home, guess what? You got another rep in you, right? Because
Hmm.
guess what? When you come home, you still got to be that man for your wife. You still got to be
Yeah.
that man for your kids. You still got to do
Yeah.
all. And these
Yep.
are lessons that you can learn in the gym, going harder, going the next rep, doing stuff when you don't want to do it.
Hmm.
This isn't stuff that just
Hmm.
happens on your fitness journey when we're talking about putting on muscle and losing. This is life lessons. You're gonna have to
Yes.
do stuff that you do not want to do. And guess what? You're gonna have to do
Hmm.
it with a smile on your face, and you're gonna have to enjoy doing it.
Yes, definitely. And also, let me add something else to that because I'm loving this. I'm loving the way that this is even flowing in the first place. Also, let's understand that in our lives, in that journey to being the man, let's understand that we have to know what it means to create a balance. And in that balance, we look at as a leader, you're not the only one that can take charge. Because when
Mhm.
you're in a relationship, when you're married and things of that nature, let's say, for example, this is an analogy that I use with a lot of the males because a lot of them really don't understand where I'm coming from until I finish explaining it. This is just say, for example, the a salesman come to the house and you knew this was a product that you've been wanting to get for quite some time, but you don't really understand everything that's going on in your house because you working, you're doing everything that you have to do outside, and you expecting her to do everything that she needs to do inside.
Mhm.
So the salesman comes to the house and you're the one who answers the door and they're asking you all these questions. So how's everything going in the house? Is this need fixed? Is that need fixed? Is this good? Is that good? And you like, well, it seems like everything is pretty good to me. No, stop,
Yeah,
pause. In
yeah,
this particular situation, you are not the leader at this moment.
100%.
Now it's time for the leader to step aside, call your wife, say, "Hey, baby, this man asking me questions about certain things in the house. Talk to him right quick, and I'm standing by your side, and I'm gonna be here for you if you need me to answer anything."
100%.
That's a real leader because a real leader knows when to take charge and when to give that position to somebody for the moment that they need that position in
100%.
order to make everything work and create that balance in your household. And sometimes you even have to do that with your children. What if it's a TV show that came on and one of the other adults knew about the TV show, but you didn't know, but your children did know. At that moment, who's in charge? Give that to your child and stand by them and be strong with your child. Because
100%.
at that moment now, I'm learning something. I'm learning something about something I didn't know anything about because I was too busy doing everything else that a real man is supposed to do.
100%.
But you got all these little small innuendos that go along with being a real man. Sometimes you got to know a little bit about certain things in order for you to stay abreast of what's going on in your household. I'm not saying you got to be super nosy, trying to do a sneak peek and sneak up on your girl. Because if you're confident in who you are and you know you're doing everything that you're supposed to do, what is there to sneak around for? She gonna
100%.
be just as loyal as you are. Do you
100%.
understand what loyalty really is? Do you know that at the point when a man becomes a true man, that all of his temptations and all of these things start to dissipate? And when those things start to dissipate, that's the same thing as when you working out and you doing everything that you're supposed to do in that gym in order to get your body physically fit. guess what starts to dissipate? The fat, the unnecessary fat, not all of it.
Yeah,
The unnecessary fat starts to dissipate when you're working out, and you got to take these concepts and put these concepts in your life the way that they're supposed to be. Got to understand there's a place for everything, and everything has a place.
100%, 100%, for sure.
You know, so I'm loving that. And you're a family man, my brother, and I love that. And I'm a family
Oh,
man too. And
oh,
right now, I'm working with the grandbabies. I only got one left, and he's a 14-year-old.
there we
So
go.
I'm working with the grandbabies now.
There we go. There we go.
So one of the things that I ask you about, being a family man is how do you create balance in your household, and how do you apply that to your workout?
Oh, I love it. So I would probably answer this like this. I don't really subscribe to the whole balance idea. So here's because for a long time I tried,
Hmm.
like, I got to get my life in balance and I got to get this. And I think we go through seasons. I think you go through seasons where maybe you're focused on
Hmm.
your business or maybe you focus on your own personal growth or your relationship, whatever it might be. Now, here's kind of
Hmm.
how I look at something. I'm present in the moment, and this is something
Hmm.
that I learned lately. Is when I'm with my family, I'm with my family. When
Yeah.
I'm working, I'm working. When I'm at the gym, I'm at the gym. So it's just about being in the present moment. Like, be where you are when you're there. Right.
Hmm.
And that has served me more than anything. Because before I wouldn't do
Hmm.
it. There was times where I might be with my wife, but I'm still on my phone, I'm still working. Or I'm over here, I'm doing this. Like, I'm not really there. Or I'm in the gym and
Hmm.
I'm doing work, I'm doing this. I'm not there. But then when I just learned to stay in the moment and be present, like, it changed everything. So whether it's
Yeah.
2 minutes that I spend with my son or 2 hours that I spend with my son, it's the same intention, it's the same amount of focus, So
Hmm. That's a blessing, man, because the the way that um from listening to what you're saying, the way that I pick that up is, um when I get in the moment. In the moment definitely makes a lot of sense to me. And not only does it make a lot of sense to me, I can see in my own way, I see the balance. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I'm so focused on balance, or so into balance, is because in life we deal with the positives, we also deal with the negatives. If we learn to embrace them both, then we're creating a balance in our lives, because we're not allowing one to take control over the other.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So one of the things too that I want to add too is my college professor said to me, he's actually talking to the whole classroom. He asked us, he said, what's the difference between an issue and a problem? And it's crazy because depending upon your background, it's all the same.
all the same.
You know what I'm saying? But when you break it down in a definition type of way, then you're looking at, okay, an issue is ongoing. It's an unsolved situation that's constantly going, never stop. But when you take those issues and turn them into a problem, it's just like math. When you say 1 + 1 = 2, you solved it. Now you're done with that. There's nothing else you can do with that. And that's the same thing with the problem. Once you solve that problem, like if you're having a problem at home, if you're having a problem with something in your life and you want to change that so that you're not constantly doing that same thing over and over again, you finally fix that. Once you fix it, now what? Your life has graduated to another level. And when you constantly growing and growing and growing in your own life, then you can show somebody else how to grow in theirs. But you can't do it if you're not trying to grow too. It's just the way the cycle works. You know what I'm
100%.
saying? So that's what I was looking at
Yeah.
when you were explaining the way. I understand that. I understand it totally. But at the same time, I also see how it can look like a balance, like there's a balance there. And for a lot of us, it works in a different way. It
Yeah.
does. And I like the way that it's working for you. And for me, I love the way mine's work too.
Yeah, I
It's
think
cool,
too.
man.
You said that everything is everything has a positive and a negative. It's just a
Hmm.
perspective. It's just how you choose to view at it. So I started doing personal development probably like 17 years ago, and that's really what changed my perspective on a lot of things. And
Hmm.
I just started finding now that I know there's a positive and negative in everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything in life,
Every single
positive
thing.
and negative. So I
Yes.
just consciously made a decision. I was like, okay, if I now know everything has a positive and a negative, all I got to do is find the positive. Why would I focus on the negative? All I got to do is find the
Hmm.
positive. So anytime that I come to something and I'm like, okay, I'm on the negative. Okay, well let me find the positive. Sometimes I find it
Hmm.
real quick. Sometimes it takes maybe a little bit longer. Sometimes I never
Hmm.
find, but it automatically makes me feel better knowing that there's a positive side to this. I may not know what it is. I'm not God. I didn't create this whole thing, so I'm not going to know everything.
Exactly.
Here's what I do know: it's happening to me for a reason. There's a positive
Yep.
side. I may not understand it, but there's a positive side to it. So I'm
Yes, indeed.
always lead on the positive side. I just didn't. I'm always going.
Yes, indeed. And that's how I am. I'm always leaning towards the positive, but at the same time, I do embrace when something negative comes along. And the reason why I say this about embracing the negative is because so many people run from it instead of looking at it, just like you said. I mean, that makes a lot of sense to me. Just like you said, um, look for the positive. You know what I'm saying? Because everything has that. Every aspect of existence has positive and negative. Doesn't matter how you look at it, upside down, straight forward. Doesn't matter how you look at it. Every portion of existence has a positive and a negative. And when you understand to embrace both of them, not run away from them, just like you pretty much basically saying that you face your problems. You don't just let those problems linger on. You face them, get that stuff out the way, and then move on to the next thing. And that's how I do it. I like to face that problem head on, do what I need to do with that, and then move on to something else. And that's one of the powers that a lot of males miss out on because you constantly let things linger. You
And
letting things linger and then you run it.
there's a clear distinction too between, because you're right, and a lot of people, another thing that they do, they avoid it. They act like it's not.
Hmm.
A lot of times, in order to find a positive in something, you first have to explore and figure out and conquer the negative. That's how you're going
Hmm.
to figure out what the positive is. It's not like,
Hmm.
here's a negative, here's a positive. I'm just going to act like this ain't here and I'm just going to focus on this. No, a lot of times, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to lean into what you're perceiving as negative. You're going to have to explore this. You're going to have to really get to the bottom of this to understand. Oh, okay. Here's the lesson. Because if you never catch the lesson, you will never level up and get to the next level, like you were saying earlier. There's another level.
Exactly.
There is no such thing as a top level, right? Not while
Hmm.
we're alive, at least. So it's
No,
like every
no.
single time you're leveling up, and then you leveling up, and then you leveling up, right? And then every
Hmm.
time you level up, now you can teach the person that's under you, right?
Hmm.
Or below
Hmm.
you, not they're not, no, they're not, doesn't mean they're less than you as a person, but
Right.
they have, their growth is not where you are. And again, this
Exactly.
this trickles right back into that leadership. Like,
Hmm.
why would, if
Yep.
you don't know anything, no one's going to follow you. If you don't get over and understand these problems, no one will follow you.
Exactly.
The man that's been through the most, that's solved the most problems, that's going to end up at the top. Look, Jeff
Hmm.
Bezos, Elon Musk, they kind of go back and forth. They're the richest men in the world. They go back and forth.
Hmm.
The reason
Yep.
they're the richest men in the world is because they've solved the most problems. They've solved
Hmm.
more problems than any other human on earth. That's why
Yep.
they have the most money. Period, point blank. I tell men all
Yep.
the time, if you don't like what's in your bank account, if you don't like the money that you're making, learn how to solve bigger problems.
Yes.
Don't get
Yes.
paid for time, you get paid for value that you add.
Yes.
just the way it is,
Yes,
right?
that's
So
true.
don't get mad at your boss. Don't get this. Don't get go learn a new skill.
Hmm.
Yourself more valuable. There's a lot of ways
Yep.
to make yourself more valuable.
Yes,
Like picking
indeed,
up a
and that is
second
so true.
language. You
I
know,
agree with
it's
you.
like we can't as men we can't wait for someone to come save us. Nobody's coming to
No,
save you.
no, there's no, like the old school used to say, there's no Captain Save a Hole.
There's not. There's not.
There isn't. Right.
There's not. You know.
What it is we gonna get out here, we gonna hustle, we gonna do this work, and we gonna make ourselves better in the process. And as we constantly making ourselves better in the terms that you used, we're leveling up. Then we're gonna actually find out what life is really about.
100%.
Because right now, at the stage that a lot of these males are at right now, we don't even know what life is about, man. We have no clue of what real life is really about. And when you on that fitness journey should have helped some of us learn what life is about. But for some of us, that's all it is. It's just a workout. And if it's just a workout, you really doing something just because you see somebody else do it.
Yeah.
You're a follower, and at some point, yeah, we're supposed to be followers at some point because that's how you learn, by following what somebody else was able to teach you. You follow that for that moment, you take over from there, and you build on that.
Yeah.
Keep it moving. You know what I'm saying?
I think a big thing that happens when people get in my coaching program, because a lot of times they'll come in, whether it's for the workouts or whatever the reason they come in, they learn very quickly, oh, this is much bigger than me. And a lot of the deep dives really happen on the group calls. So we'll get on a group call and
Hmm.
deep dive and get into the deeper stuff. And they'll start to
Yep.
realize, okay, there's a lot more layers I need to pull back here. If I'm gonna step into this person, you're pulling out of me. Because
Yes.
I typically see more in people than they see in themselves.
And that is a gift, because obviously you're doing something right in order for that to happen. If you weren't doing anything for yourself in order for that to happen, you wouldn't see that, you
Yeah.
know. And these gifts are not given to us because we're special. It's given to us because we work towards getting them. We work towards um, receiving them. We work towards reciprocating what messages and what life had to throw at us. We work towards reciprocating these things. And in order for us to be a better us, we have to keep doing that. And we never stop doing that because we never stop growing. We never stop building. If you want to stop growing and stop building, then guess what? Just lay down and go to sleep for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
That's the best
You know,
way to say that. Lay
and I
down.
honestly believe we weren't designed that way. We were
No.
designed to be conquerors. We're designed to take dominion and conquer.
Hmm.
No, but I think what
Yep.
happens is society, our family, teachers, pastors, whoever it is that we're learning growing up, a lot of times they're not empowering us to be who we need to be. So it messes with
Exactly.
our belief system. And if your belief system is not in alignment with who you want to be, which most people it's not, you're never going to
Hmm.
become that person. I don't care how much you tell yourself you want the cars, you want the money, you want the
Hmm.
body. If your belief system isn't in line with that, you'll never do it. Most people's problem is it's not that they dream too big, it's not that they want too much, it's they think too small. They don't think big
Yeah.
enough, they don't think enough of themselves. So when you
Yep.
have someone that genuinely sees something in you that you don't quite see in yourself, sometimes you have to buy into their belief until
Yep.
your belief gets strong enough.
Yep. That is so true. Oh my goodness. That is so true. Man, you definitely hit the nail on the head with that one, for real. That is so true, man. And at the end of the day, one of the things I learned too is, in my relationship with me and my wife,
Mhm,
sometimes we got to go back
mhm,
to being a child again.
mhm.
Sometimes you got to go back and understand that being silly is still a part of growth.
Yeah.
Being understanding, sitting down, having that conversation, and getting to know each other better and better and better. And that's like one of the things that I said in one of my songs that I wrote. I said that I would like for her to be more wife. I didn't say my wife, I say more wife because she's already my wife. But now that we're building and constantly growing together, I'm getting more and more of her and she's getting more and more of me. So I want her to be more wife
Yeah,
because that right there is something that's never ending as long as you keep that going. You know what I'm saying? And that's a blessing.
100%. And I mean, growth is something that we're always growing. We should always be growing. Unfortunately, not everybody does grow. A lot of times,
Hmm.
for most people, once they're done with schooling, that's it. They're done. They hang up the towel. But really, that's when everything
Hmm.
starts. When your journey starts and you really figure out who you are as a person. What everybody has a purpose. Every
Yeah.
single person is put here for a purpose. You're here for a reason. And until you get in alignment with that
Yes.
purpose, you're always going to be lost. You're always going to feel like something's missing. There'll always be a
Hmm.
void, right? So it's important. We're always growing. We're always peeling back the layers and discovering who
Yes.
are we really. And one of the biggest things
Yes.
that I see in the society that we live to us, and this is something that I really had to figure out, was we lie to ourselves too much. We tell ourselves stories, and they're just
Oh
not,
my goodness.
so when you can stop lying, and I tell people, like, first of all, you have to stop lying to yourself. Because if you lie to yourself,
Yes.
you will definitely lie to other people. So,
Yes.
like, a lot of times with my guys, when we first start, I'm like, stop lying to yourself.
Exactly.
First, they're like, wait, no, no, I'm not a liar. I'm not. I'm like, yes, you are. You're lying to yourself right now.
Yes.
You
Yes.
have to learn to start being real with yourself. Because until you get rid of that and stop doing that, you'll never become the man that you need to be. And it's hard at first. It was very hard for me at first because I didn't realize
Yeah.
all the stuff I would like lie about. Because I thought when I
Yeah.
thought lying, I'm like cheating and stealing and like that kind of like lying.
Yeah. No,
No.
no, no. It's a bigger lie than that one. It's a much bigger lie than that one. When you lie to yourself, that is one of the biggest lies you can ever tell in your entire life.
Yeah.
And you got to overcome that. You got to get past that. That's when it's time to say, okay, I need to do a self evaluation and really get to know who I am. Because most of the time, when people lie about stuff like that, they're really basically telling you who had the most effect on their lives other than themselves. They didn't learn anything about themselves, but they learned a whole lot about all the stuff that somebody taught them. So now it's time to strip you. It's time to strip myself of everything that somebody else taught me, build myself up first, and then take all of that other stuff that somebody else taught me, dissect that, what's useful, keep that, what's not useful, get rid of it. You don't need that because you continually, like you said, lie to yourself, constantly telling these lies. Hey man, I'm the type of person that do this. I'm the type of person that do that. Okay, where's the proof in that, bro?
Yeah.
When I see that you're actually doing that, then I'll believe you. And
Yeah.
don't do it for 5 minutes and say that this is the type of person that you are, because when something comes naturally, you ain't got to tell nobody that this is the type of person I am because they're going to see it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the real deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
So tell me something in your journey while you're doing your fitness. What are some of the things that helped you to grow in your journey to fitness and also helped you to understand that, man, okay, I need to apply this to my life as well? That's like when you first got started, what was the part of the transformation for
So just so I'm clear, can you just restate the question again? I just want to make sure I answer it correctly.
you? So basically, like when you first got started, before you even got into fitness and things of that nature. When you first got started with your fitness journey, what were some of the things that you did in your fitness that you while you were working out that helps you to understand, okay, I need to change some things about myself as well?
Well, that's a good question. I would probably say the first thing, because again, I really started lifting seriously when I was 15 years old. That's when I really got into lifting.
Hmm.
And the first thing I realized was how weak I was, mentally and physically. I realized how weak I was, because I started lifting with some guys that were heavier
Wow.
or more advanced than I was. And I was like, man, I'm very weak. Not it wasn't the physical weak that bothered me. It was the mental weak.
Hmm.
It was the fact I mean,
Hmm.
just I complain because I'd be like, ow, that hurts my hands. Or ow, like I'm like, dang, I'm really
Hmm.
weak. So mentally I had like
Wow.
because look, working out with these older guys, I was like, how are they able to do this? But I was inspired. Because I'm like, how are they able to hold the bar like that? How are even like squatting? Like I'd have to put the little pad on my back because it would hurt my back. I'm like, how are they
Hmm.
doing that? Because they wouldn't dare let me put it on my back. And I'm so glad
Wow.
they were hard on me because it made me mentally tough. So very
Hmm.
early on, I realized like, oh, this ain't really about this. A lot of this is mental. It's not really physical because mentally we can do way more than we think we can do. So I got
Yeah.
the mental aspect was probably the very first big thing that I learned, and that definitely transferred over to life because I was like, oh, I
Hmm.
just have to outwork people. Not, I don't have to be physically stronger than them. I don't have to know more
Right.
than them. I just won't quit mentally because I know they'll quit.
Hmm.
It's hot outside, they'll quit. If it's cold outside, they'll quit. If it's Saturday,
Yeah.
they'll work on weekend. Like they're just going to mentally shut down. So strategically,
Hmm.
I just started mentally dominating people. Mentally just
Awesome.
dominating. People would come into work, because a lot of times I was in sales. I worked a lot of sales jobs. So people would come into work and they'd be like, oh,
Okay.
I'm so
Okay.
tired. And I'm like, oh, not me. I'm feeling great. I'm about to kill it. I'm about to crush it. So I would just mentally defeat people.
Yes.
Like, oh man, how's your month going? Oh,
Yes.
it really sucks. I'm like, well, my month ain't going like that. And I'm about to get a couple more sales. Like I just would mentally,
Exactly.
and just like I could mentally defeat other people, I learned to like mentally almost like trick and manipulate my own self,
Hmm.
where I would just like my
Yeah.
self-talk was just like phenomenal. And it would
Yes.
change. Like I could go from a day where I'm like, I didn't feel good, like I just didn't accept that. I just didn't accept that as
Hmm.
true. And
Yes, indeed.
that carried me very far. That was huge for me at the beginning. And I just would there's certain stuff I just wouldn't accept.
Hmm.
I just wouldn't accept. And to this day, so people would say something and I'm like, no, that's not my reality. That might be your reality. That's not my reality.
Right. I feel you.
Because
I
again, it
feel
comes
you
back to that whole
100%.
belief system. Like whatever you
Yep.
believe, that's what you're gonna do. So
Yep.
you have your
Yep.
belief, and your beliefs are gonna you got emotions, and then your emotions are gonna come with your thoughts, and after your thoughts are gonna come your
Hmm.
actions are gonna come your results. So it all starts with your
Yep.
belief. And it's
Yep.
like at a very young age, I figured that out through weights. It came through lifting weights.
Hmm.
It came from, other men that were older than me say, go lift that. I'm like, I can't lift that. And they're like, yes, you can. And I'm like, I can't lift it. Like, yes, you can. And they would sit me down and like they would make me lift it. They would get me pumped up. They would get me mentally right. And every time I did, I'd be like, oh, snap, I can do this. And we do it. Yeah, I can do this. And then I
Yes.
just stopped
Yes.
saying that. I'm like, why I'm gonna give myself an F before I take the test?
Yes. Yes. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You'd be surprised. I mean, I know you know better, don't get me wrong, but you'd be surprised at how many people give themselves an F before they even take the test. Even when I'm doing my training, I got so many people that be like, man, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can do this. I say, well, you won't know until you try.
Yeah.
I said one of the things that one of my good friends, he's Japanese,
Mhm.
and I was talking to his father one time, and I had some pretty big doubts about us being able to create this video game that we was trying to create.
Mhm.
And his father said to me, he said, the longest journey is shortened by taking the first step.
Mm.
And I was like, whoa. It's
Mm.
like the way he said it, and in the moment that he said that, it's like I dropped everything that I possibly had in me about doubt, and we got to work.
Yeah,
We got to working, bro. And that I've been living with that journey ever since.
that's what's
E-
up.
Ever
That's
since.
great advice too. That's
Yes,
super solid,
yes.
super solid
The
advice.
longest journey is shortened by taking the first step. And when you think about that, though,
Yeah.
as soon as you take your first step towards anything, what's the next step? What's the next thing that's coming in? Now you starting to build your confidence up,
Right.
and you start getting more eager to do it. You start having that more willingness to do things. So what? I mean, come on, that's a blessing right there. That is a blessing. So tell me something. When you're training and you're helping the people to excel in their life, in their fitness life, what is one of the main keys that you really want them to get out of it?
Oh, that's a good question. I would honestly say, the main thing I want them to get out of it is to be a leader, to be a strong male leader, to step away from my program and become the strong male leader that they know they need to be. Because I don't tell anybody nothing they don't know. They already know. So to really
Yeah.
step into that role and own that role, and because I know how powerful that is. I know a strong male leader. I know the impact that they can have on their family. I know the impact that they can have on their community, and it goes way past me, way past me. So that's the biggest thing I want me to come, like, just to be a strong
Right.
male leader when they lead the program.
So what do you tell the guys, like the ones that say, I want to be like you? What is your advice to them when they say, I want to be like you?
Well, I would probably say first thing, I don't think it's okay to learn from other people. It's okay to get things from other people, but no, you need to be like you. You need, like, God created you to be you. He ain't create. There's only one of me, right? There's
Exactly.
only one of you. So it's like, okay, let's dig down. Like, there may be some traits that you like in me. There may be some things that I do that you like, and that's no problem. But I would rather you
Right.
figure out who's the man that God intended you to be,
Yeah.
right? Because you can't be a copy of me, right? There's only one
Right.
me, and there's only one you.
Exactly.
So it's like, I'm very big on, like, let's figure out who you are as a man. Again, there's nothing wrong with looking up to people. There's nothing wrong, you know, um, being inspired by other people. But at the end of the day, dude, you awesome. There's no
Mm.
need for anybody to be me. You awesome. And if someone doesn't understand that, which most people don't, right? Because that's very common. Like, I'll get that.
Mm.
People they'll say that to me. I want to be like you. No,
Mm.
you need to be like the man God designed you to be. That's who you need to be with, because that's the powerful one, not me.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So with that same energy, what do you want your children to get from you as they're growing up?
So I think the biggest thing for me is, for my children, that I would feel like I did well, is if they grow up and they're God fearing and they're serving God.
Mm.
Those are the two things. Those are my biggest things. God fearing.
Okay.
Those are the two things. If they grow up and they do that, because everything else after that will take care of itself. Those are the two.
Exactly. That I totally agree with you on that. I totally agree. Because even with me and my children always said, "Dad, I want to be like you." I said, "I don't want you to be like me. I want you to be like you, and I want you to understand who you are. Do a self-preservation exercise and know who you are, know where you came from, and understand your path. Because that self-preservation exercise is going to help you to figure out what your path is and what's your reason for being here. And then you take that and you excel from that. Don't worry about anything that I've done. Just understand that regardless of what you do, I'm going to be here for you as best I can.
Yeah.
That's what you need to understand.
Right.
That's what I told my children. I still, even to this day, they call me and be like, "Dad, I need advice about this. Dad, I need advice about that." That's what I'm here for. They'll be like,
Right.
Dad, I know you get tired of me asking you questions. No, I don't. I
Right.
never get tired of them, my children asking me questions.
Right.
How else you gonna learn? If it's something that I know, I tell you, I give you my advice, and I'll give you a scenario that may help you to figure it out. But if it's something that I don't know, I say, hey, let's learn this together. Let's both us figure it out. And whatever we get from it, we can do a little more research to see what other people got from it and figure out what's best for you,
Right.
you know, because that's the goal.
Right. Right.
That's the goal. So, what is um, one of your biggest things that you like to start out with when you're teaching people? What's the biggest thing you like to start out with?
I think just clarity on the big picture, clarity on what needs to happen, and really what needs to happen. The core things that we work on is habits and discipline. That's the two main things that we got to get in check. We have to establish clear habits, right? And when I say habits, I mean because I don't want you to focus on the outcome, right? So there's inputs and there's outputs. So the outcome
Mm-hmm.
will be the output. The input will be like your daily actions or your habits, your disciplines. That's the
Mm-hmm.
only thing that you can actually control. So we're going to establish daily habits, right? That if you do this, and this will happen. There's no way this can't happen. And then we back those habits with discipline, meaning whether you feel like doing this or not, this is what you're going to do, right?
Right.
I'm going to give you the habits, right? You need to develop the discipline to be whether ready to do those things, whether you feel like doing them. And then if you do that, hands down, no question, we get results every single time. So it's just
Yes,
establishing
indeed.
clearly, here's the habits that you need to do. We need to develop the discipline where you wake up in the morning, you feel like doing these, awesome. If you wake up in the morning, you don't feel like doing these, awesome. Do it anyway,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Yep.
there's a handful of them. And once you learn those, it's a wrap.
Yes, indeed. So, what is discipline to you, and why is it so important?
I mean, to me, discipline is quite frankly just doing something whether you feel like doing it or not. It's irrelevant. Like it's just something you do, something you've made the decision to do, regardless. As long as your
Mm,
heart is beating, as long as you got a pulse, job's not done.
yes, indeed. That is so true. That is so true. I couldn't agree with you more because I'm one of those people that don't get much sleep. So as long as I got a pulse, I'm okay. I'm keep going. I
Yeah.
get a few hours of sleep and then right back up and right back at it again. So the dedication and the focus is there. All right, my brother. So we're getting close to our time. So please give us some motivational that you want the world to know to take us out.
Man, I would just say this as the gentleman watching this, and even the ladies, there's ladies watching this is not something just for men. I would say, step into your purpose. Really figure out who and why you were put on this earth and attack that with everything you got. I mean, attack that with everything you got. And I promise you, if you do that, if you get in alignment with your purpose, first of all, success comes so fast. It comes so fast. I don't care what your situation is right now. I don't care what you're going through. I don't care how bad you think it is. As soon as you shift into alignment, right, with your creator and your purpose, growth happens so fast. It's crazy. And then just put all your energy and effort behind that, and then the rest will be history.
That is so powerful, bro. That is so powerful. And to all the listeners, please make sure you take this advice because Mr. Tywin definitely said a mouthful and definitely put something out there that everybody should be able to resonate with. And we appreciate that big time. Big time. We appreciate that.
Word, brother.
So let the people know where we can actually reach you. And before you get started, I just want you to know I will be following you on social media. Following you on your social media, no doubt. And I've
Word,
already
bro.
been to your website.
Word, bro. I say the best place to find me is on social media. You can find me at all across all platforms, mainly Facebook, Instagram. Instagram is my primary. You can find me at first and last name. So I'll spell it out. It's Tywin, Tywin. Last name is Kalandyk, Kalandyk. So Tywin Kalandyk. Again, follow me on there. I put lots of content out. A lot of you guys are free. The free content that I put out, that'll be plenty. That'll get you started. That'll move you in the right direction. And then if you're feeling touched, you're feeling inspired, you really want to take things to the next level. You don't want to do the guesswork. You don't want to try to figure things out yourself. You just want a straight laid out blueprint that works every single time. Just shoot me a DM and we'll talk. I mean, and again, if it's for you, great. If it's not for you, that's fine too. But for pretty much less than $10 a day, we get you rocking and rolling and change your whole life.
Hey, that's amazing right there. No doubt. Please, everybody, take Mr. Tywin's advice because I really feel the vibe that this brother can really get you to where you need to be on your fitness journey, on your mental journey. I really feel like this brother can take you where you need to be. So please follow this man's advice, follow the website, follow the brother on social media. Let's get it. Let's make it happen, you all. And don't be playing games because you all know how I am. When it come down to it, we got to be all about it. Everybody's supposed to help each other, so let's make it happen. Man, my brother, thank you so much, man. This was definitely a very, very fulfilling conversation. I cannot get this out of my head, and I can't wait to tell my wife because we actually sit down and talk about my podcast most of the time. So I'm looking forward to this journey, bro. And again, I will be following you on social media, so be looking out for me, bro.
Gotcha, man. It was a
Hey, my
pleasure.
brother,
Again, thanks for having me on, and to your listeners, I appreciate you listening. And let's go. Let's go be great.
most definitely, my brother. Peace and blessings, man. Have a
All right,
great
bro.
one, brother.
Next one.